Welcome to Red-tastic. Story 1. Hi, I have 3 roommates. Jack, 19 male, Kim, 18 female, me, 18 female. Then there is Susan, 22 female. She is pregnant, dropped out of school, and works part-time. I have known Jack and Kim since 9th grade. They are really smart people, go to university and have jobs. They moved in about a year ago, and it was awesome at first. Susan has been living in the house for about 3+ years. She moved in when my grandmother was still alive. She was only supposed to be there for a year until she graduated school. But she met Mike, 28 male, fell in love, and was convinced not to continue her schooling. This is all my opinion. Maybe she had other reasons that did not involve her boyfriend, but he was never really happy with the idea of an educated woman. This is from comments he has made in my presence and those of my other roommates. Now, Susan is not a bad person. She can be pretty funny, but she was already there, and I figured it would be easier to rent her a room to help pay the bills. Now, my uncle has a lawyer friend. These rooms are perfectly legal, and we have a contract each roommate signs every month. It states they will live there for the next 4 weeks, and I have the right to not renew the contract, should it suit me, for whatever reason. It also says no alcohol, drugs, or unknown guests shall be in the house. No giving keys to boyfriends. The contract also states they have access to the bathroom, bedroom that they rent, and the kitchen. Any of the other rooms are not theirs. Though I have not been bitchy about letting them use the living room or other parts of the house. Though the way the house is built, the kitchen and bedrooms are on one side and the rest of the house is closed off by a door. I guess if you have parties, people will not disturb people who are sleeping. Who knows? When Grandma died, Susan was not mentioned in the will, but Susan seems to think the house is her permanent home. The issues started right around the time Susan got pregnant. She started talking about wanting to make the house baby-proof. At first, this was not a problem. I didn't intend to kick out a pregnant woman. We were going to talk, the whole house, about what the proper steps would be to make sure no one was treated unfairly. We have meetings every month to talk about issues we all have. So while we all had fears about what a baby would mean, we didn't think Susan would be sticking around long enough for us to find out. She had talked about moving in with a boyfriend. They were going to get married and raise the baby properly. I thought this was a great idea. She's about 5 months along, and we figured we had a good chunk of time before she was going to move out. So we were going to talk about it soon and see what needed to be done. Well, Susan became restless. She started buying decorations and putting them around the house. I have no problem with her decorating her room, no ruining the walls or repainting anything. She had her own style that I did not agree with. It being my house and my grandmother having lived here, things were not as chic and girly as Susan wanted them to be. I would return the things to her room. She got angry when I returned her turtle statues. She also suggested painting her room orange. When I said no, she yelled at me for about an hour, then blamed it on the hormones. I returned her stuff and she hasn't tried to redecorate since. But she complains almost daily about how unfair I am being. It makes it hard to live with her when she always says nasty things. She thinks she should be allowed to because she pays rent. My grandmother did not let her redecorate when she was alive, so not sure where she thinks I will be different. Today she asked to speak with me about some of the issues. It started off good. To paraphrase, she said, "I want to live with Mike. The baby needs more space. I really like living here, but I need to have Mike with me to help with the baby. I have some ideas on how to make this work, and I hope you will listen to them. But first, I have a few problems with the house. 1. The furniture is not baby-friendly. It is also very old lady in here, and I think you should redo the house. I told her that the door to the living room could be closed. She didn't have to have the baby hanging out in there, but we could work on making the house safer. But there was no way I was redoing any of the decorations. It seemed to me to be her way of trying to switch the house to her preference. She said, I have been looking into apartments to rent. Her boyfriend has an apartment, but they want something with another room. I told her that was good. She told me they had been unable to find anywhere else to rent that is as nice as my house. The rent is cheaper here, $400 a month, and the facilities are much safer. The other apartments just did not match up with my home. She says she would like to continue living in the room. She wanted to have the kid here. This is where the problem started. It was not just her wanting to raise the kid here. She wanted to make some changes to the house. She wanted to move into my room, which is the master bedroom. It has an office attachment that could double as a nursery, or so she said. I use it for my own business and had no intention of moving out. It was never up for offer, but she continued on like I would agree with her. It felt very pushy, and I felt a little violated. She also said when Jack or Kim move out, her kid could have his own room. She talked for about 30 minutes about what she wanted to do to our house. I told her this was not a possibility. She was month to month. She did not own the home and had no say in its design. I had no intention of moving out of the master bedroom. Jack and Kim were not going to be kicked out because she wanted Mike to move in. And furthermore, I told her that I did not want Mike in the house at all. He smoked pot, destroyed some of my furniture pieces, borrowed movies and never returned them, and tried to bring alcohol into a house with underage people in it. He was not a responsible person, and I did not want him in the house. She claims she is going to a lawyer about living here, and is staying with Mike for the time being. Because she is month to month, I'm not sure what to do now. Update. I went to a lawyer's today with my uncle and 2 roommates, Jack and Kim. We sat down and went over the contract. He used a lot of pretty words to tell me that I have, by law, a right to not renew the contract. She has broken a lot of the contract rules. My roommates told me some things she had done that annoyed them. What seemed like an original issue is now something bigger. She has been trying to drive the roommates away herself by making snooty, homophobic comments at Jack and going into Kim's room. She also ruined some laundry. So the first thing I did was write her an email, text her phone, and left her an official "we are not renewing." I explained in the email that I would not be renewing, and if she would like to discuss it, I would be available tomorrow. Then we called a locksmith and had him come and change out the locks. This was something I was doing anyways, because I have an ex who I broke up with due to issues. Susan knew about it. I even texted her before we had the incident, so she cannot use that against me. She knows the locks were going to be changed. On top of that, I paid to have locks put on the bedrooms, living room and garage. This way, there is no way that Susan can go in any room except the kitchen and a bedroom. Her contract states she has use of the kitchen, bathroom and bedroom. So that is legally all I have to let her use. The lawyer said that I cannot kick her out for being pregnant, but the use of drugs in a house with 18-year-olds is illegal and that should be sufficient enough for her to have to move out. Plus, late rent and giving the key to her boyfriend. Susan has yet to come back. I think she is at her boyfriend's. I have texted her several times telling her to come for the key, so she will not be locked out. She has not answered. I even emailed her about it. I am, however, not leaving it out for someone to find. And that is pretty much the update for now. Sure, drama will happen when everything goes down. Wow. Hopefully, Susan didn't throw a fit. I can't believe she tried to overtake OP's house from underneath her so she and her baby daddy and baby can live comfy. I mean, I realize she's desperate with the baby on the way and struggling to pay the bills. And Mike doesn't sound very adult either. But this is all her doing. She chose to get pregnant. It's not OP's problem. I hope everything went well for everybody in the end. Now for some comments. Wow. I just can't believe to attempt to take over your family home. How some people can be that selfish is beyond me. Hopefully, she will just stay at her boyfriend's house now. But if she does show up all guns blazing, don't give her any reaction. Keep your cool and don't let her get under your skin. And be sure to update us. Although it was not a great idea to bring your other roommates to the lawyer's office, you are doing the right thing. With luck, maybe she will never come back. Story 2. To keep it short and sweet, I, 27 female, was recently informed that my boyfriend, 28 male, of 2 years is planning on having his ex-girlfriend, who he dated for 6 or 7 years, move in with him. From what I was told, he has known about this for almost 2 weeks now and has not yet had the balls to tell me. Today, while I was at work, he sent me a text saying we needed to have a little chat and it's not going to be something you're going to be happy about. But I'm sick of being broke. We still have not had this conversation yet since I worked 12 hours today and really just want sleep right now and definitely don't want to have this conversation anyway other than in person. So he said we'll talk about it tomorrow. To add fuel to the fire, very early on in our relationship, he actually cheated on me with this particular ex, though he still denies it. I know there are pictures that exist of them making out that was taken while we were together. He has sworn up and down the past 2 years that this ex is nothing more than a really good friend who supposedly has a boyfriend right now. And me not wanting to be the controlling girlfriend has sucked it up as best as I have been able to and kept my feelings, for the most part, to myself. But this is a whole new level that I'm 95% positive I cannot be comfortable with. So, what do I do? Am I wrong for considering ending it? He is one of the most stubborn people I've ever met, and I know he will not back down from this decision. But I don't think I can live with him living with his ex-girlfriend. Advice always greatly appreciated. Update. Well, I'd be lying if I said that didn't suck. Not sure which hurts worse, my head or my heart. I did as you all suggested, and well, now I'm left with a broken heart. I know I'm better off. I just wish it didn't hurt this much. He didn't do quite what I predicted. Instead of making me the bad guy and using her as an excuse, he pretty much stuck with the excuse of being broke, which I told him was complete bullshit. And there was no way in hell she is his only option. To which he replied after arguing for a bit that he was taking the easy way out. He adamantly denied that it had anything at all to do with her and that she would never be home, and will be giving him $300 a month. More arguing about why her blah 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 went in circles. He then uses the argument that he hates asking anyone for help more than anything. I say, you never once asked me for any kind of help whatsoever, and I've been your girlfriend for 2 years. Yet you turn to your ex. He then asks me, if he would have asked me to move in, would I have? Seriously? This is when I can't take anymore. I gave him back my key to his place, and the one thing I knew would get him the most, his USMC ring and dog tags that he gave me very early in our relationship. Basically his most prized possession. I then walk out the door. Unfortunately, the one kind of big flaw in my plan was drinking an entire bottle of wine in a very short period of time, and not eating. Clearly I couldn't drive. I sat outside on his porch and cried for a long time. He kept begging me to come in. I kept refusing, telling him I am no longer welcome in his house. He says it's still my place and that nothing has changed. More crying. He makes me come inside because it's freezing and I was in a t-shirt. I sit on the couch and cry, trying to sober up. He tries to comfort me and I push him away. Finally, I basically said, "You've clearly already made your choice. You chose money and her over someone you say you love. But you don't throw love and 2 years away for money. If you really loved me, this idea would never have crossed your mind." He swears up and down that he does love me. I take off the bracelet he gave me last Christmas and set it on the table next to his key and USMC ring and dog tags. I stop talking and eventually leave. That's it. My heart is in pieces. I haven't heard from him today, though I didn't really expect to. Thanks to all who gave me advice, and I'm sorry I don't have a happy ending for you. Your kind words and support gave me the strength I needed to do what I knew I had to. I just wish he'd never put me in the position to have to do it. OP should be celebrating, to be honest. X sounds like a piece of work. If he really bothered, he could have found plenty other people to move in with him. If money was the problem, OP says she would have moved in. But he just wanted his ex. I'm guessing they are rekindling their relationship or have been dating behind OP's back. Either way, good riddance.